This video is about memory management in Intella. The default memory settings are tuned for general use, but there are scenarios where your computer may not be able to keep up and you may run out of memory. We'll look at how to identify and solve these issues. On the other hand, if you have a high-end server, you may want to squeeze every ounce of processing power out of it. We'll look at how to optimize your memory settings to get the most out of your hardware. Let's start with a short introduction on how memory management works in Intella. To understand how memory management works, we need to discuss what a process is. Computer applications, like Intella, consist of multiple processes, each with a specific job to do. You can think of processes as workers on your computer, handling a specific task for you. In Intella, we have many different processes, including a process for the case manager, the screen you see when you need to select a case, the main process, which is responsible for displaying the interface and opening the case folder containing the databases we use, and one or more processes for indexing the sources you add to Intella. Each process is assigned a certain amount of memory and CPU time. This helps to ensure that the computer runs smoothly. Intella is not the only application on your computer. So, if you run more applications, there will be less memory and CPU power available for Intella. Something to keep in mind. At different stages, you can see error messages like out of memory or Java heap space. You can see this while running the program or in log files. It depends which process is causing the problem. There are 3 places where you can identify you have a memory problem. After indexing a case, you can open the exception report to see items that were not processed or partially processed. In Intella, select the Sources tab and select the source you want to get an exception report from. Once the source is selected, the Exceptions Report button becomes active, so you can click on it. This will open a window where you will be asked where to store the report. You can save the report as a comma-separated file, CSV, or as an Excel file, XLSX. Open the file in Excel, for example, to see a list of items that were not processed. Look in the Reason Warning Description column to see if there were any memory issues. Intella stores multiple log files on your computer. There is a log file for the general application, and you have logs specifically for your case. You can find the log files here. You can go through the log files manually, but you can also use a built-in feature to scan your logs for errors. In the desktop version of Intella, go to Help and click on Scan Logs for Errors. By default, it selects the current case folder. You will be presented with a window showing if there were any memory issues while indexing. In Intella Connect or Intella Investigator, go to the Admin page and click on System. Then, select the Log tab. Select the case you want to scan, and optionally select the server logs to be analyzed as well. You can also download the logs from here, so you can share them with our support department when you need assistance. Also in the search interface, you can see if any memory issues occurred in your case. For this, go to your facet bar, select Features, Exception Items, and select Out of Memory. If you see Out of Memory 0, this means that no out-of-memory issue occurred on any of the items. Let's have a look at what kind of machine you need for the Intella desktop and web-based products. For Intella 10, 100, 250, or Pro, it is important to know the average evidence size. This table shows you the recommended memory and CPU cores you need to have available. For Intella Connect and Intella Investigator, we recommend 64 GB or more available memory. Intella Connect and Intella Investigator should run on at least a server with 8 or more CPU cores. You can allocate the best hardware because the Intella license does not limit the amount of memory or CPU cores you use. When you open Intella Desktop, you see the Case Manager screen where you select your case. This is a standalone process that is only used to open a case. Once the case is selected, this process is no longer needed and does not take any memory. The memory setting for this process is not adjustable in the interface, but it can be changed in the configuration file if really needed. The manual covers how you can change the memory setting for this in a configuration file. The memory setting for the main process is based on the amount of memory available. Look at this table to see what the auto values are with the amount of RAM detected on your computer. You adjust the memory for the main process in the case overview. You adjust the memory allocation in the Case Manager's screen to your preferred value. We have multiple processes with the same task, indexing data. We call these particular processes crawlers. A crawler is responsible for processing a batch of items like documents, PST files, etc. A crawler has limited time and limited memory to finish processing an item. If analyzing an item takes longer than 2 hours, we stop the process. It is also possible an item needs more memory than available. In this case, you get an out-of-memory error. The reason for running out of memory can also be because the file is corrupt. If the file that timed out is needed for your case, you need to reindex the data. If the memory error occurs in the crawler when indexing a specific file, then you need to increase the service memory. If the memory error occurs in the post-processing step, then you need to increase the main process memory. The default setting for crawlers is a calculation. It looks at the physical memory available and subtracts the memory allocated for the main process. Note that this is the upper limit the process is allowed to use. Intella will not use the memory when it is not needed. Assigning more crawlers without other considerations can adversely affect performance. The user interface refers to memory needed for indexing as service memory. You should avoid assigning all available memory to Intella processes, as this can lead to an unstable system. The best memory and crawler settings depend on the type of data being indexed and the processes that will be performed on Intella. For instance, when indexing a large number of loose files or disk images, increasing the number of crawlers can provide better performance. Additionally, increased memory assigned to crawlers can help to resolve out-of-memory errors or crawler crashes with specific large items. An example when this can occur is when you import OCR text from a load file. Increasing the number of crawlers can also increase performance. When investigating a case, almost all available memory should be assigned to the main process, and assigning more service memory can improve performance when exporting to formats such as PDF or to a load file. When your tasks are outside the normal use case, you can adjust the memory settings to optimize how memory is used. It's recommended not to assign more than 75% of the total memory to Intella processes. See the manual for more information on this topic. To manage memory settings in Intella effectively, it is crucial to consider the hardware specifications, data types, and processing requirements. Intella automatically assigns memory to different processes, but optimizing these settings can significantly improve performance. Assigning too much memory to Intella processes can lead to performance issues. Therefore, it is important to allocate memory based on hardware specifications and data types, while also factoring in the needs of other applications running on the system. The one element that you should be focused the most on is my total amount of RAM adequate for the datasets that I'm about to index? Thank you for watching this video and using Intella.